Oh, hello.
I didn't see you there.
I didn't see you there.
I did see you there.
Oh, yeah, I saw you too.
I knew you were there. You're not that sneaky.
I mean, we're in the same house at the same table.
We're at a table facing each other.
Yeah.
I was going to see you.
If we didn't see each other, then we might need to go get our eyes checked.
That's true.
Yes, there could be a serious issue.
Hey, what up? It's Goose Chase.
This is the Goose Chase podcast where we sometimes talk about our eye conditions.
Mm-hmm. We haven't done this in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Sorry about that.
So it is time.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a surprise party in the house.
Yes.
And surprised your pants off.
Yeah, so that was a very nice, sweet thing that Dave did that I've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, that was fun.
And hinting at strongly. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciated it. It just so happened that I had the worst possible day ever. So when I arrived at the door and opened it, and it was dark, and people turned the lights on and jumped out and yelled surprise, my little brain broke.
Yep.
And didn't know how to take the turn from the worst possible day to the best possible thing ever.
Yeah, you
so I immediately
started
crying, and I called them all fuckers in front of Dave's parents, which is not a thing I would normally do.
They did, to their credit, they didn't say anything.
They said nothing.
I didn't see them go, oh my.
No. I mean, clearly I was having a mental breakdown.
So
I was just like, you fuckers.
Which, by the way, I have video of. So maybe at our 100 subscriber special, we can release that video of you crying and just, I had a terrible day. And then for some reason, I've been thinking about this.
You
it's like,
kept recording.
Right. I've been thinking about this. Like, why didn't I stop recording? And I guess I just kind of thought it was like, oh, happy tears. And
you didn't, in your defense, you didn't know how horrible of a day I'd had.
No,
nobody did, because you couldn't tell me, hey, we're having a surprise party for you. Be in a good mood.
Yeah, you can't tell someone to show up in a good mood.
No one could have predicted what had happened to me that day would happen to me.
Catastrophic series of ugliness.
Myself.
Yeah.
Basically finding out that what you thought of someone that you kind of trusted was entirely wrong. It's just a bad thing to happen. So
not great.
It was a really, really horrible day.
Well, we have the video, and we'll gladly share it with you.
We'll share it with all of you. We honestly don't even want to watch it.
No, we haven't watched it yet. I don't think I will. I don't think I'll delete it either.
Don't delete it in case I decide I want to hate myself.
Well, because someday in the future, it won't seem like that big a deal.
Maybe it'll be funny again.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the party was very nice, and it was very thoughtful, and I really appreciated you doing that.
And that's why we didn't do the podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And then
we were busy. I was busy crying, then not crying, then eating cake and getting presents.
Yeah. Which was super great.
Yeah. They surprised the pants right off me.
Your pants fell immediately off.
Wearing pants.
Everyone was like, oh my God. And then you were like, oh no.
The funny thing is that my scrub pants don't fit me well. So it wouldn't be that weird for them to just fall clean off.
Easy now.
Speaking of that surprise party,
yeah,
I'm wearing my very own headphones.
That's right. It's courtesy of Chris Brady.
Chris Brady.
Oh, Chris Brady. Oh, Chris
Before
Brady,
I was wearing Chris Brady's headphones. Right. So he bought me my own.
Yeah.
Which is very nice of him.
It was very nice. And he also got himself a nice new set of headphones. So
yeah, he replaced the ones that I did not break, for the record. They were already broken. I didn't know it. But if anyone remembers that episode where I was like, oh no, I broke these.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
And then last week, I just couldn't do it, realistically.
You had an existential, horrible crisis.
Which I take responsibility for, but I was sitting there and I just could not get myself to not be miserable.
For days, actually.
Yeah, it actually lasted about 3 or 4 days before I kind of came out of the funk.
I think Sunday was the first time that sort of came out of it.
And that's weird. And I know I got to do something about this
You do.
business. But anyways, I do
You're not alone in it, but it's something we can work on.
Yeah, but I apologize. I just couldn't get it together. But now we're here.
we're here.
And it's a week after that.
It almost didn't happen. We had some hot dogs. There were hot dogs, and that's all I know.
Yeah, we pushed this one pretty late. I expected we would be done around 8 tonight, and it is 9:19, and we're just starting. Yeah, so that's not great.
In our defense, we don't work tomorrow.
Right.
Because it's Thanksgiving, and we don't have any real plans until 4. So
what are we thankful for this year?
Oh, you're going to spring that on me?
I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Eve of Thanksgiving?
What are we thankful for? I, for one, am thankful for the brand new hot dog establishment in Austintown that is going to supply me with hot dogs for a long time.
Yeah. Their name is Hot Dog Alley.
Hot Dog Alley. Not
spelled like the name.
Yeah, not spelled like an alleyway, but spelled Allie.
They're very good. I liked the corn dog.
Mm-hmm. We had some mixed results with the dogs, but they're pretty good dogs.
Their chili is really good.
Chili is very good.
And it looks and tastes like homemade chili. It doesn't look like it came from a can, and it doesn't look like what you expect chili and cheese to look like from a fast food establishment.
Yeah, it's not like
orange. Neon orange.
Yeah, right.
Not to say that I wouldn't ingest that willingly and with delight, but just saying this is not that.
Right.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
The waffle fries we did like chili cheese waffle fries. They could have been crispier. Could have been crispier, but still good. Everything was good that I had.
It was good. I'm thankful for that.
I had mac and cheese on a hot dog.
Yeah, they put mac and cheese on a hot
dog. It was a chili
dog.
mac and cheese dog.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It was good. It wasn't. It didn't knock my socks off.
If there's one thing I expect, it's to have my socks forcibly removed from my body.
By a hot dog.
By a hot dog.
Yes. I need to write that down. Forcibly remove socks from body by hot dog. Last weekend we did something I was very excited for.
Is this related to things we're thankful for?
Oh, wait, I need to be thankful for something.
I need to hear your
sorry.
Thankfulness. It's almost Thanksgiving. We can't push this to the back of the program.
It's true.
We need to get this thankfulness out of the way.
I am thankful for you.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I'm thankful. You were thankful for hot dogs.
I'm thankful for hot dogs.
I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for our friends.
Mm-hmm. Me
and
too.
Their support and encouragement and friendship. And they're good people.
I agree.
And I am glad to have them. And I would be a very different person if I didn't have the group that we have.
I agree. I'm really grateful for my friends. And basically, a good half of those friends are listening to this right now. So thank you for being
If you listen
friend.
to this, thank you for being a friend.
Yeah. You
But
going to say?
That was it.
Okay.
That was it. Oh, the thing I was going to say before, I forgot to be thankful.
What? Okay. We're changing gears.
The thing I was saying before I forgot to be thankful.
Okay.
Was that we went to do a thing last weekend. It was a Gilmore Girls themed event in Akron. Now, everything about this event made it seem like they were turning Lock 3, which is like the place in Akron where they do all the events.
It's essentially like an open park area.
Yeah.
Along the river.
They do like concerts and sporting events and stuff like that. That they're turning Lock 3 into Stars Hollow. So in my mind, they're turning Lock 3 into Stars Hollow. It's going to look like Stars Hollow.
It seemed that way because they said they were going to turn Lock 3 into Stars Hollow.
So I was very excited. I wanted it to be magical. I told you several times, I was like, I just thought it was going to be magical.
Which is like, it's funny because when you say that, it almost sounds like, a little sad and like, oh, well, who would expect it to be magical? Except, of course, we all want things to be magical.
Right, like
when you say it out loud, it almost sounds silly, but it is really how we work, isn't it?
I just wanted to walk into it and be like, oh my God, this is like so close to the show that I loved and watched
At
for
least
years.
Some
like,
semblance.
it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not thinking like this town is going to look just like it, but that they tried, like,
yeah,
even slightly resembled it would have been really awesome.
Yeah.
And it was the first time for the event, and they were not expecting the number of people that they got. And it was kind of disappointing. I stood in line for an hour and a half to get coffee from the Luke's.
Right.
And it was a shipping container that they sell beer out of normally, but they sold coffee and hot chocolate. They had been selling pie from a local bakery. However, they were already sold out of the pie. This event only went from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And over 1,000 people said on the Facebook event said they were going. 7,000 people said they were interested.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea of the kind of interest that it generated.
I would probably estimate the attendance was like between 500 to 600 people.
Also, we didn't stay the whole time.
Right.
And it's like an event you could go in and out of. And there were people doing parts of it, like the trivia, that we didn't even go over there. So
yeah,
we didn't even see the full grasp of how many people were involved. But the funniest thing that happened.
Oh my God.
I bought us coffee.
Slayed us.
I bought us coffee. I was going to get pie, but they were out of it. I got popcorn. They weren't selling any food other than like the pie and the popcorn. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need something. So it said they had s'mores. And I was like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, do you still have s'mores? They're like, yeah. So they hand it to me. I give them my money and everything. And I move over to the side waiting for my popcorn. And I'm standing there and Dave walks up to me and he looks at my wares that I've just purchased. And I hold up a bag containing Hershey's chocolate, 2 graham crackers, and a raw marshmallow. And I say, I asked for a s'more. And they gave me this. And I just lost it. Like, it was so funny to me. That is not a s'more. That is s'mores ingredients.
I immediately died laughing.
We laughed so hard.
We did that great thing that you do with someone where you know you're the only two people that could possibly appreciate the thing you're laughing at, and you're just intensifying each other's laughter.
Yeah. What made it better, though, is while we were in line, our friends who we haven't seen in a little while, Jimmy and Natalie, said hi. We didn't know they were going to be there. And we started talking to them. They were in line behind us then. And they didn't hear me order or see what I got. They did the same thing. And afterwards, we're standing there and they had the same reaction we did, where they're like, they gave me this. And I was like, oh my God, yes, you find this as ridiculous as I do.
Yeah. I feel like I've told this story to enough people now that it's like I'm almost burned out on telling it. But because this is a podcast and people haven't heard this, I will say this. I have a long-standing feud with the city of Akron, and this just cemented it for me. This was where I was like, no, actually, I think I have the final confirmation I need that Akron fucking blows. And I've been saying this for so long that I wasn't even surprised.
I think the possibly most disappointing part was that the whole event, the whole thing, of course it was Gilmore Girls themed and for the fans, but the whole thing was to generate, like, bringing people to Akron.
It was to boost tourism.
Boost tourism in Akron. Now, here's the thing.
Which did happen.
It did happen. It took place on a Sunday. Everything was closed. Every food establishment was closed, and the event did not provide food. So there's a bunch of people, some who traveled at least 2 hours.
That's sad to me.
Who came to a city for an event. It wasn't really what they wanted. And then they couldn't even find food anywhere in Akron because every food establishment was closed. Yeah. What happened to us was that our friend Jimmy hadn't eaten. I hadn't eaten that much, although I did have cake for breakfast that day.
Gloss right over that.
Moving on. I might be spiraling. Let's not talk about it.
Well, yeah, like basically we're in the lock. El Gato, the taco shop, is closed. Baxter's is closed.
There's like a peanut shop.
Peanut shop.
They're not open.
Closed. Pretty sure Lockview wasn't actually open.
Yeah.
Barley House, which is an Irish bar and restaurant, is packed with people for trivia. So all the places immediately close are closed.
Yeah. And then I look at our friends and I'm like, hey, let's ditch this. Let's try to find some food.
Yeah.
So we go on a mission to do that. Every place we look up is closed because it's Sunday. Yeah. And we decide to go to some places that you're familiar with because you work there.
Yeah.
Every single one. There's like 3 within a walking, like we park and there's 3 within walking distance. All 3 are closed.
Yeah.
At this point, I look across the street and see a brewery that we passed before that is clearly open and go, I don't think we're finding food. Let's drink our calories.
We are gonna drink. After all, honestly, we went through like 9 options.
Yeah.
And everything is closed
There was
on a
even
damn
one
Sunday.
There was even one that was like on the internet, it said it was open, but we had passed it and it was clearly closed. So it's like we couldn't win. And I'm like,
you don't win in Akron.
Like
I decided.
The way I define Akron is a city that wants to be a small sleepy town. Like it can't make its mind up if it wants to be quaint and be everything closed on a Sunday, or if it wants to be a city.
Yeah. Or the thing is, realistically, it's the downtown.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the whole city, but the downtown,
clearly no one lives there.
You would think it would be open because it's right next to the University of Akron campus.
Yeah.
There are a shit ton of, kids with money to spend on food or whatever, university
those kids don't
cards.
Have money.
You get university cards. You can take them down to restaurants and stuff like that. Like they have there's things that they could be doing.
Yeah.
There is nothing servicing them on a Sunday. I don't get it. I really don't.
Except that brew pub. What was their name again?
What, the trivia place?
No, the brewery that we went to.
Oh, well, we went to the brew pub, which is Acronym.
Akronym.
Clever.
And when I first saw it, I was like, bah.
Yeah.
But then I was so grateful to them.
And
their beer was good.
It was good. It was good beer. It was the only place that would take us.
Was not disappointing.
Right.
Their beer was very good.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have food because that's not what they do. I wish they had food. Not their problem. Not their fault. Akron,
not their fault.
Why is everything closed on a Sunday?
Akron, why do you hate people's business?
Planners of this event, why did you choose a Sunday when you're bringing tourists into the city and there's nothing for us to tour?
We should note, because we should be fair, it was a free event.
It was free, and it was their first time planning it. I'm not trying to be too tough on them. It's just silly.
It was a fucking wreck. We waited an hour and a half for a cup of coffee.
And the real reason I'm disappointed is because I was so excited.
I know. That's really what it is. Your expectations and everyone else's were built on what they said they were going to do.
Yes.
We didn't even mention the hay maze. By far the funniest thing. It was supposed to be a hay maze, and what it actually was a square made of hay bales, one bale high. That you can see you can see the entire maze from any point in the maze. Okay. There was never a chance of getting lost in it.
If anyone, this is obviously a reference to the show, and there's an episode of the show where
nobody knows about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Where the character Taylor, who's like a busybody type who runs everything in the town, decides he's gonna have a hay bale maze for one of the big festivals they have during the summer. So he goes a little crazy with it and gets real into it. But because he spends all of the budget on hay for this giant maze that takes up the entire town, they can't have anything else at the festival. So the festival is just a hay bale maze.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a really funny episode. And it turns out everyone's actually, this is really fun. And they just go with it.
Akron did the opposite.
Yeah, but in that, the maze is so high that you can literally get lost in it. And they have flags for people to throw up when they get lost.
Yeah, because that's what a hay maze is.
Right.
That's what a maze is.
This was not that.
In order to be a maze, you have to not be able to see what's outside of it.
Yes.
That makes it a maze.
Oh, and then we just kept talking about the fact that if I had been in charge, I would have had my credit card company would have been calling me suspecting fraudulent charges because they're like, you spent $5,000 on hay?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, that was me.
me.
That was definitely me.
Okay.
Also, like, are you gonna need some lightly used hay after tomorrow? Because I'm gonna have a lot.
We are going to have literally mountains of gently used hay.
Gently used hay is my favorite.
So yeah, that was this weekend. That was a kind of a bummer, but whatever. I mean, people tried to do a thing. They absolutely failed, but it was free. So whatever.
Yeah.
You can't be that mad at people. Unless you came from 2 hours away and you starved.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I do want to go back if they do it again.
Sure. Maybe
I want to have faith that it will be better.
If we do that, we go early, we assess the situation, and maybe we just get a pizza and leave. But
I mean,
we have
if we
different
can find
expectations.
a pizza place open.
Oh, you just have to leave Akron.
Oh, that's true. I mean, that was basically while we were standing in line for coffee. I looked at you and went, "Let's wait a little bit longer. Hopefully, get some coffee.
Right.
Maybe watch the rest of whatever episode of the show is playing at the time.
Yeah.
And then let's cut out and get some food." It's only because we ran into friends that we stayed any longer than we did. And then we ended up basically doing what we said we were going to with them.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that
They made
we
it
couldn't
worthwhile.
find food. They were the best part of the day. And I had a really fun day. Despite all that, despite being disappointed in the event, I had a really good time with them. And it was worth us going and hanging out because we got to hang out with two cool people. Yeah. So... Yay. So let's move this along. It's really time. Do you know what it's time for?
I think I know what it's time for.
I bet you know what it's time for.
Are we about to play a game?
We're going to play a game.
We're about to play Yahtzee?
No.
Connect Four?
No.
Monopoly? Checkers? Chinese checkers?
No, still kind of checkers. Doesn't count.
Okay. Could it be time for the news quiz?
The one that's sweeping the nation.
Oh, that one. I think I know what you're talking about.
All right. Yeah, right. It's time for Trues and Fnews.
It's time for Trues and Fnews. Let's do it.
You ready for this?
I think I'm ready for this. It's been a while. I'm a little bit rusty. I think I could do something here. I think you can
All right, we're doing our stretches. You're doing like the
I know what I'm doing. I'm doing like a wavy thing.
Weird thing. Okay.
I'm channeling all my most fluid energy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. First headline.
What do we got?
Unbreakable smart lock devastated to discover screwdrivers exist.
Okay. That sounds real. That sounds really real.
Second headline. Due to data entry error, this was supposed to be more topical, but we haven't done this in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Due to data entry error, Indiana voters' Democratic choice for Senate was Instagram famous dog Joe Doggally rather than human candidate Joe Donnelly.
Okay, I'm not convinced that's not it, but go on.
Third one, Minnesota man arrested for driving motorized lawn chair on highway.
Oh, that's tough, because that definitely happens all the time.
But does it happen in Minnesota? And are they arrested?
Oh, it definitely happens in Minnesota all the time, and people get arrested for it. The question is just if it happened this time. I'm wagging my finger at that one because I'm like, oh, that happens.
All right. Like a motorized lawn chair?
Lawn chair. I thought you said like a motorized wheelchair.
No,
Okay.
not that.
Never mind.
Okay, you ate those words.
Okay.
Let's recap.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Unbreakable smart lock devastated to discover screwdrivers exist. Second one. Sorry, got a little phlegmy there. Due to data entry error, Indiana voters' Democratic choice for Senate was Instagram famous dog Joe Doggally rather than human candidate Joe Donnelly. And last one, Minnesota man arrested for driving a motorized lawn chair on the highway.
Okay. You know what? Actually, when you were telling me that, for some reason, I wasn't even picturing a motorized lawn chair or wheelchair. I was picturing a guy on a lawnmower.
Yes, I figured you might have been. That's a thing that happens. No, this is a lawn chair.
Okay.
With a motor on the highway.
I got to go with my gut.
What's your gut say?
I feel like the smart lock is the thing. I know this has happened before. I know it in my heart.
Your heart is correct.
Yes! Woo!
But now it's been so long that I don't think I even have that tab anymore with the actual article, so I have to go looking for it.
The thing is, I've heard of things like this happening before because for some reason, people that are making smart locks have like no clue about like basic physical security.
Yes, and it wasn't the only problem with it also.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of things like this before where it's like, okay, but you guys know that like people could just drill that thing out of there and get in, right?
Yeah.
Like what's the point of a super sophisticated smart lock?
So, TapLock, TAPPLOCK, raised $320,000 in 2016 for the product that would allow you to use just your finger to open the unbreakable lock. Amazing. Things took a turn for the worse when the ship date of September came and went. Backers complained that the upstart had stopped posting updates and wasn't responding to emails nor social media posts. After months of silence, the startup assured LReg that everything was still moving forward and the delays were due to issues with manufacturing in China. Fast forward 18 months and finally, the $100 tap lock is out on the market. And it is, well, how do we put this kindly? Somewhat flawed. No less than 3 major problems with the lock have been discovered that make it less than useless because presumably people intend to use the lock to secure valuable things.
Yeah.
One of the first things to note is that the tap lock used zinc aluminum alloy Zamac 3, something that it claims lends the lock unbreakable durability. Unfortunately, as materials engineers are happy to point out, aluminum may be a lovely lightweight metal, and this alloy does provide an enviable degree of detail when die cast. It is not exactly the best choice for something supposed to be unbreakable.
I was going to say, neither zinc nor aluminum by themselves are particularly tough. So, like,
it's not very strong, it melts at high temperatures, and it's quite brittle. It looks cool, but it's more suited for its more common use, door handles. It will be easy to cut through this lock with bolt cutters.
Yeah, right. It doesn't sound tough even.
And at this point in the article, there's a bold headline that says, "Here we go." That, by the way, is not one of the 3 flaws.
Oh my God.
The first major flaw was the way it used Bluetooth to lock and unlock. Andrew Tierney, a.k.a. Cyber Gibbons, reviewed the lock for pen test partners, and it took him less than an hour to find a way to open every single tap lock.
All of them?
Everyone he tried.
Ooh.
How's that possible? Well, it turns out the lock broadcasts its own Bluetooth MAC address over the airwaves and uses that address to calculate a key used to lock and unlock the device.
Oh.
Tierney cracked the system disturbingly quickly. It uppercases the BLE MAC address and takes an MD5 hash. That's not important. We don't know what that means. You might know what that means. I don't.
Okay.
He was able to write a script, port it to an Android app, and open any nearby tap lock wirelessly using his phone and Bluetooth, taking less than 2 seconds each time.
That's brutal.
This level of security is completely unacceptable, he complained. Consumers deserve better, and treating your customers like this is hugely disrespectful. To be honest, I'm lost for words.
Wow.
The problem was so bad, Tierney informed the manufacturer and gave it 7 days before he went public with the flaw. Just hours before the deadline was up, TapLock put out a security advisory warning that everyone needed to upgrade their lock's firmware to get the latest protection. This patch...
I'm going to guess that wasn't easy either.
What?
Like upgrading the firmware, like especially once you have it installed in a door.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, whatever.
Well, we'll see if they mention it. This patch addresses several Bluetooth communication vulnerabilities that may allow unauthorized users to illegally gain access, the company noted. But Tierney notes it doesn't mention that literally anyone can open any lock that doesn't have the firmware updated.
Oh, God, they can't say that. They're ruined if they say that.
On to flaw 2. Security researcher Vangelis Stikis published a blog post on Friday outlining that TapLock API endpoints have literally no security checks beyond checking whether there was a valid token. So if you create a TapLock account and gain a login, you'll be able, again, to open every single TapLock out there.
Wait, all you have to do is have an account?
Yes. Tierney noted in his piece that he saw all kind of red flags that made him confident that the lock's security was going to be terrible. Whoa. And Stykes notes the same thing, but with different red flags. He approached the lock from a different angle, the lock's app, and was immediately concerned that it didn't even use HTTPS. And so he dug around and found pretty quickly it was trivial to manipulate other users' accounts from a different account.
Oh my God.
Aside from being able to get at the lock itself, the security flaw enabled him to access the actual account information as well. Amazingly, he approached the first flawed discoverer, Andrew Tierney, and asked if he would share the email address he used for his account. Tierney agreed. Within minutes, Stykes was not only able to add himself to Tierney's smart lock, but was able to see his name and address.
Oh my God, this is terrible.
That's right. TapLock is literally handing out all the information people need to not only access others' locks, but where you can find them physically.
That's a nightmare.
It's safe to say that Stykes was not impressed. Really have no postmortem on this one, he noted. The lock had several flaws, and to my understanding, they had a great marketing team, but a non-existent security team.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you to buy or not buy anything, as I don't have the authority to do so, but I would not buy this lock.
Yeah.
TapLock disabled the API exploited by Stykes to thwart further attempts to obtain strangers' information through it. So those are two catastrophic software errors. What about the actual physical lock itself?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a screwdriver story in here, right?
Yeah. Aside from the nice-looking but shoddy aluminum alloy it is built out of, and the lack of a decent physical step in the lock arm itself that all decent lock manufacturers add to prevent thieves from shimming it open, there's another pretty insane flaw in the lock. You can potentially unscrew the back off.
Well, like from the outside, from the locked side.
YouTube Jerry Rig Everything was one of the first to review the lock and approached it in a purely physical way, scratching it, trying to snap the back off, etc., etc. He was fairly happy with it until he took a serious cutter to the lock to see what was inside and discovered that the back is literally screwed into the body. He went out and bought a second lock and then stuck a GoPro mount to the back of it, discovering to his amazement that it simply unscrewed like an expensive cookie jar.
Oh my God.
That gave access to the back of the lock and to what were bog standard Phillips head screws that you could remove using a screwdriver. Once inside, it was trivial to pop the lock. Jerry Rig Everything concluded that it would be possible to crack any TapLock within physical reach in under 30 seconds using nothing more than a mount and a screwdriver.
That's unbelievable. That's really unbelievable.
Followed an amazed response and over 1 million views, TapLock responded that the lock has a metal pin inside that's supposed to prevent the back panel from rotating. TapLock has said my particular unit is defective and should not have come apart that easily, he noted before generously adding, it seems to be more of a defective unit situation instead of a poor design situation. TapLock said they have reviewed the quality control and found no other defective units. Even if that's true, and Jerry Rig Everything had somehow stumbled on the only TapLock in the world where this pin didn't work, it still leaves the issue of the screws that can be opened with a normal screwdriver.
Yeah.
We're told the gadget maker will in future use proprietary screws and will check to make sure the pin is in place.
It's an item you buy for security.
Yeah, so basically
you have to try harder than that.
Basically, to make this clear for people to really picture it, the back, in the case of the Jerry Rig Everything guy, the back panel screwed off, and underneath there's a plate with screws that you could just unscrew with the Phillips head screwdriver.
Yeah.
According to TapLock, there is a pin that's supposed to be in place that keeps that back panel from just screwing off like that. No screwing off. But Even if that's the case, it's still poor design. There's so many problems.
Yeah.
There's more to this article. I'm not going to read any more of it to you. I've read enough. But those were 3 major flaws.
I'm really glad that's almost a middle segment in itself, what you just gave us.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting story of like that's what, I guess that's kind of what happens. It's the Kickstarter culture of like,
Yeah.
all you have to do is market something really well, make it look really attractive. People don't necessarily question that, why would someone get into the lock game if they have no intent of actually securing something?
Yeah.
They just kind of assume they're getting what you say you're going to get.
Well, especially if your marketing team is good.
Right, that's it. The slick marketing thing just sort of, like they use like terms like, oh, well, it's a zinc aluminum alloy that is super indestructible, and you just go, sure, why not? Why wouldn't it be?
Why
they just
would
said
I
it was.
Why would I think that this lock meant for security
Yeah.
would be made out of a metal that is like not that strong?
Why would they make it so I could just chop it up? They wouldn't do that. That's incredible. Really,
Yeah.
I hope Taplock is currently on fire.
Yeah.
I really do.
When they're like, every time someone comes forward with another one of these flaws and they're just like, oh, there's an update. Oh, there's an update. Oh, well, quality control. And that's the only flawed unit. I'm just like, just give up, guys. Just like, call it a day. Be like, I'm sorry.
You know what got me thinking is if those screws are right through that panel, someone who knows where they are could just quickly hit it with 4 or whatever, holes with a drill, and all of a sudden it's off.
True.
It takes like 2 minutes to drill the holes and unscrew it.
There's a lot of ways you can defeat a tap lock.
That's just
We
thoughtless.
should get a tap lock and we should defeat it.
Yeah, let's not spend money on a
No,
tap
I'm
lock.
not paying for a tap lock.
But if anyone
If
has
anyone
one,
wants to send us a tap lock, let us know.
We'll destroy it.
I've been thinking about getting a P.O. box, but we don't have a real need for it
No.
yet. But if there becomes a need,
Yeah, if you guys start
I'll get a
mailing us
P.O.
weird
box.
stuff, we'll get a P.O. box. It's on you. You got to make the case for us to get a P.O. box.
yes,
That's something else. All right, I nailed it. I super crushed it.
you did. You did it.
Not even rusty. Look at this.
Man, you guys can't see this, but Dave is not rusty at all.
Not at all.
Also, those were finger guns.
Yeah, those were finger guns.
My middle segment is called Skynet, how an AI took over an adult knitting community.
An adult knitting community?
Yes.
Is that like a porny adult knitting community?
It's not really porny, but it is mature.
Whenever people say adult,
I know. It's like adult as in there's like adult language and it's not censored. So let me explain.
Okay.
So we've all seen the videos of someone teaching an AI something, like feeding them lots of videos of something or whatever, and then having the AI create its own version.
Yeah, sure.
Watch all these episodes of Bob's Burgers and then write an episode of Bob's Burgers.
Machine learning.
Yes. So there's this person who does that. Like, she teaches AI to do something and then unleashes it. So she discovered, I don't know if she's a knitter or just, someone said, hey, this would be a fun thing to do. But she discovered the website Ravelry, which is a knitting and crocheting website. You can find patterns on there, some of them free, some of them you pay for. There are also forums and groups you can join with similar interests to you. And so in one of these groups, they decided to participate in this. And basically, she fed the AI knitting patterns. And then she had the AI create knitting patterns, posted them in the group, and then the group knit them to the best of their ability.
Okay.
Now, the thing with this is that the AI learns patterns.
Sure.
It doesn't understand what they are or what they mean.
No, yeah, it's just it's like purely math.
Yeah, so in knitting, it's like the patterns are all abbreviations and numbers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, these people are taking this pattern that's kind of just gibberish, but interpreting. You're so bad at that. Yeah. Interpreting to the best of their ability an actual knitting pattern out of it. And they're getting things, I mean, they're not useful objects, but they're getting things with like weird names, and I find it delightful. It's so delightful.
Okay. Well, like what? What are they getting?
I need to find some. I want to look at some of the names because you'll like them. But the knitters in this group named this project Skynet.
That's a pretty good name. And I'm assuming that the algorithm is naming the projects.
Yes.
Based on what it thinks people like to name knitting things.
Yes.
And what it understands of the language that people are using. Yes.
This other article about it says, letting neural networks be weird.
Yeah.
Which I think is accurate.
I think there's a surprising number of hoax versions of this floating around.
Yeah.
It's like people will be like, oh, we fed an AI, like 200 episodes of Seinfeld, and it wrote a Seinfeld episode. And it's like, okay, well, I don't think actually it did, because it seems actually to rely on some kind of human intelligence. I'm always skeptical of things like this.
Right.
But this one I believe.
Yes. So let me find the person's name who did this, because... Oh, this is her website. This is her Tumblr. Letting neural networks be weird is her Tumblr, or aiweirdness.com.
Okay.
The blurb says, I train neural networks, a type of machine learning algorithm, to write unintentional humor as they struggle to imitate human data sets. Well, I intend the humor. The neural networks are just doing their best to understand what's going on. So Skynet, when knitters teamed up with a neural network. So she says, I use algorithms called neural networks to write humor. What's fun is they learn by example, so you give them a bunch of some sort of data. They'll try to figure out the rules that let them imitate it. They power corporate finances, recognize faces, translate text, and more. I, however, like to give them silly data sets. I've trained neural networks to generate new paint colors, new Halloween costumes, and new candy heart messages. I've seen that one. That one's good. When the problem is tough, the results are mixed. There was that one candy heart that just said "whole" in all caps.
Oh my God.
One of the toughest problems I've ever tried, knitting patterns. I knew almost nothing about knitting when at Johanna B at wandering.shop sent me the suggestion one day. She sent me to the Ravelry knitting site and to its adults only, often indecorous, LSG forum.
How do you say that? I think it's indecorous, but I'm not sure.
Who, as you will see, are amazing people. When asked how I should describe them, one wrote, "Don't forget the glitter and swearing." And so we embarked upon Operation Hilarious Knitting Disaster. The knitters helped me crowdsource a data set of 500 knitting patterns ranging from hats to squids to unmentionables. J.C. Breyer exported another 4,728 patterns from the site stitchmaps.com. I gave the knitting patterns to a couple of neural networks that I collectively named Skynet. Then, not knowing if they'd produced anything remotely knittable, I started posting the patterns. Here's an early example. And she posts a picture. At one point in the pattern, it says basically to knit 6,395 stitches. And like just in the middle of the pattern, it's just like just knit 6,395 stitches. It's just like
it just says that without like where or how. It just
no. I mean, I don't want to redo
it.
I don't want to redo a whole knitting pattern, but basically, to look at it, it looks fairly normal at first glance. Like the first one is knit 1, purl 1, knit 2 together.
See, the problem is I don't understand.
You don't know what that means,
and maybe a lot of our listeners don't know what that means either.
Purl 1, it's a type of stitch. Knit 2 together is when you knit 2 stitches at once. It's a way of decreasing stitches. Yarn over twice more times. Yarn over is a way of adding a stitch that makes it look lacy. Doing it twice is a little tricky in a row. And then it just says 10 stitches. Like you'd knit 10 stitches.
Okay.
So that's, it's like weird. You'd kind of have to figure out a way to make it work, but you can make it work.
Like it's physically possible.
You have to interpret it basically.
Okay.
But you can make it happen. And then in one of the rows later, it says work in pattern as set. Row 8, purl 1, 6,395, 71, 70, 77. Like it's just like saying numbers now. Like that doesn't mean anything.
Weird. Okay.
And so knitters found this hysterically funny because they're like, this is just so optimistic that there would be that many stitches, and then it's out of nowhere, and it's just
like,
delightful.
Like no pattern in the world ever tells you to put 6,000 stitches in.
Right. But the really cool thing about this is the fact that knitters aren't new to having to interpret knitting patterns, especially if we're knitting from like an old vintage pattern.
Sure.
There's always a little bit of like figuring out what they really meant for you to do. I don't know if you remember this, but I was knitting a shawl at one point for someone.
Of course I remember that.
It
took forever. Of course I remember that.
I was stuck at like the 5th row.
Okay.
Because I couldn't figure out what they were telling me to do wasn't making sense with like the counts. Like it wasn't working the way they were explaining it. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up going into a yarn store and being like, I need someone to help me. Like I need someone to walk me through this because I think it makes sense in my head, but I keep doing it and it's wrong. Like it's not working out.
Yeah.
So at first they couldn't figure it out either. They're like, the way you're thinking about it is correct, but it's not right. Like it's not working. I don't know. They are leaving something out of the instructions, but I don't know what. We finally figured out what it was, which is like a real lunatic thing to do and not explain for people to do.
But a lot of this older stuff relies on...
It wasn't even an old pattern, is the thing.
But in other cases even, like older stuff relies on understanding some previous convention, and maybe this one as well relied on an understanding that wasn't available to you.
I think what the problem was with this one is that the original pattern was in another language and later translated to English. Oh. And the writer of the pattern, English is not her first language. So even if she speaks English and well, some things can be lost in translation, and maybe the instruction that was more specific was left off. I ended up messaging the writer of the pattern on Ravelry and was like, please help me. And then once I figured it out, I was like, I figured it out, but you might want to be more specific. Yeah. I think she did message me back, but she wasn't really getting what I was asking the first time. And I think she later, once I explained like the fix, she might have updated the pattern. I can't remember. But we're used to having to like puzzle this stuff through. Yeah. And just the fact that these knitters took complete nonsense and were like, no, we're going to knit things out of it. We're going to make this happen.
Did people make the 7,000 stitch?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know if they made that one or not, but people made some of them. If you want to look at these pictures, I was trying to find, there was one called, I think, Data Sock.
Data Sock.
One called... So I'm trying to look at the names. Mystery Lace Data Sock is one.
Okay.
Reverse Shawl Citicas.
Okay.
Frost Odonata.
That's kind of a cool name. I don't know what it means, but it's a cool name.
Actual Jellyfish is one. Lady Orion.
Okay.
Shoeless Jane. No, Orion. Aurian.
Okay.
Ribbed Rib Megan Ann.
Ribbed Rib. McRib.
Winder Socks. Totes my name. Totes my name. Unless these are the people who... No, you know what? Totes my name is the person who knit it. I wish that was the pattern. Okay. The things after the hyphen are the names. So Megan Ann is someone who knit something. Shoeless Jane is someone who knits something.
Okay.
Yes, these are. Take a look at them. Some of them look like real things.
Yeah, this will be of no value to the people listening to this.
But if you go on, if you search for how an AI took over an adult knitting community, you can see the things that people created from these patterns.
My impressions of them is that they are very strange forms, like very not even symmetrical forms in a lot of cases. Squiggly, and they have sort of interesting patterns inside of them. Some of them, one looks like the state of Ohio. One is a square with a random pattern of holes inside of it. Very interesting stuff. Doesn't look like anything you'd ever deliberately design.
No.
Very much looks like just like what do shapes look like if you don't know what shapes are.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. What does a knitting pattern look like if you generate a random pattern and don't understand the mechanism of it?
Yeah.
Because there are some things you could pretty easily teach a neural network. Knitting patterns isn't one of them. No, there's a lot of convention that you could never teach a neural network. It's just that's really complex, but the idea is great.
I mean, a lot of what we think is aesthetically pleasing is actually kind of rigid and not super open to a machine learning what it is, I guess, or like being creative on a rule set. Like we actually have some surprisingly rigid rules about like basic beauty.
Yeah,
we value things like predictability and symmetry. You know?
It varies from culture to culture, but usually symmetry is respected.
There's some things that like you almost question whether a neural network is of any use at all. Because, we like rules. We actually really like rules.
But here's the thing that works for neural networks. They understand. They can figure out rules if the rules aren't too complex.
They require a lot of training.
Yeah,
a lot of training to get really good at this stuff. Neural networks are very useful, but they require a lot.
For something like knitting, that not only is it creative. It's mathematical.
Yeah.
There are rules to make a pattern look the way you want it to look. There's different stitches you have to use. There's different symbols in a pattern mean different things.
Yeah.
And a neural network doesn't know what those things mean. They just know, hey, I see this a lot. Let me put this here.
Yeah.
And so you get things that look crazy and unusable.
I mean, it is very cool.
But it's hilarious. And I love that a group of knitters was like, oh no, we want to do this. Like, you give us these crazy patterns and we're going to figure it out.
I'm always interested in what neural networks might come up with. And they've already made some actually really useful things for us. They're really useful for compression, like image compression and things like that. They're like, they can do things that are hard for us to figure out how to do well. This one maybe will take a little while to get really good at what it's doing.
This one's never going to be successful, but it is.
Or maybe it will. Who knows?
It's a fun experiment, and it made me really happy because I like to knit, and I like the world getting to see the sense of humor that knitters have.
Yeah.
Because I think when people think of people who knit, they think of their grandma. Their grandparents. They're like, it's an old-timey thing.
Old women knitting.
Mostly women. And they don't think about, like, a lot of people knit. And a lot of us are really funny. And we like to drink. That's usually...
That's the real lesson here.
That's the real lesson.
Knitters are funny and like to drink.
I mean, you've never wanted booze more than when you're working on a finicky lace shawl.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty cool middle segment. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I hope that was interesting to anyone but me. But
I don't know how much everyone will follow that, but I think it's actually kind of
just go look at the pretty pictures.
Yeah,
go look at the silly pictures. It was called Skynet: How an AI Took Over an Adult Knitting Community.
Yeah, it seems like that would be worth reading the entire article.
Yes, and
there's a lot of content there.
Also, just find that person who posted it, who trains the neural networks, because it sounds like she's done really cool things. I did look at her one about the candy hearts at one point. The Valentine's Day candy hearts, those are really funny. And the paint names, I think, were really good, too. Yeah. The two she mentioned in there.
That's pretty cool.
Check that out.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I think we're ready for a break.
Okay. Well, let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute with the main segment for this episode.
All right. You're breaking up.
What?
That's annoying.
Bye. And we're back.
And we're back.
We are back. It is time. It is late. Oh my God, it is late.
Time. It's okay. We get to sleep in tomorrow.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We get to sleep in tomorrow. We don't have anything to do until 4. Well, technically, we have some things to work on around the house, but
yeah,
nothing involving other people aside from us.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Give
bird
thanks for
day.
that. Bird day.
I'm looking forward to eating some bird.
You know, turkey's not my favorite, but as much as I say that, I always enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I really like turkey. If it wasn't such a weird pain to put together, I would eat more of it.
Yeah. You enjoyed making that turkey last year.
I did. That football of a turkey I threw together.
Yes. It was really good.
I thought it was all right. It's good. The skin got kind of weird and stretchy and tacky, didn't it?
That's just bird skin.
Okay. You're probably right.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not about turkey nor Thanksgiving.
But it is about...
carcasses.
The murder of innocent creatures.
Yeah. We are talking for... I guess... Yeah, let's somehow
segue.
Slide into that one. We're talking about Ohio serial killers.
Yes.
That is our topic. Now, this was probably meant to be part of Spooktober, to be fair.
Yes.
But that didn't really happen.
Kind of.
We're now in the middle of November, so.
So here's the thing. Back in Spooktober, I had this grand idea once we realized we were going to make a whole big Spooktober thing of it, at the suggestion of Aubrey, which was a good suggestion. Thank you, Aubrey. I had this great, brilliant plan that I was like, all right, scrap the topic I gave you. You do serial killers because it'll be spooky, and I'll do the one I did, the husband and wife ghost.
The Warrens.
I was like, I'll do them, but you forgot that you were supposed to switch your topic, and so you did Teal Swan, which was the topic I had already given you, but Teal Swan was really fucking creepy anyway, so it fit Spooktober.
Yeah. Our schedule got all thrown out of whack.
It did. That's okay.
Yeah, lots of things happened in between then and now.
Yes, and now we're carrying the Spook Fest over into November, and that's okay.
So now we're talking about serial killers that are from or affiliated with Ohio.
All right. So Dave and I are true crime fans, and this is what I live for.
Yeah, true crime is you I think you indulge in as much of it or more of it than I do. We both really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I like the regional aspect of this. Just talking about things that are relevant to Ohio.
I like that too.
I chose 3. I did a lot of research on possible subjects, and I even kind of threw in at the end a quick glossary of things I didn't talk about.
Yeah.
But I chose 3 to talk about that I thought were the most interesting, and that had some real specific Ohio components to them.
Okay.
But before I talk about all of that, I have to skip into. God damn it! I scrolled off. I scrolled off of my starting point. So I started by saying, if you ever want to see some real controversial subjects on the internet, a great one to look at is what is the serial killer capital of America? Because for some reason, everyone wants to be the serial killer capital of America. It's like one of the first things I found when I started looking, because it's somehow in my early Googling, one of the things that I found was, these killings prove that Cleveland is the serial killer capital of America. And then I saw that and I went, okay, well, let me search for what is this.
Is it really?
Right. I started checking that, and everyone wants a piece of that title.
On that serial killer capital pie.
Yeah. Like everyone wants it to be them, which is super funny to me.
I think it's part of that macabre humor. The reason that we say we like true crime. It's not that we like crime. It's that
Although maybe a little bit.
It's that confrontation with a difficult topic. So it's that kind of like aversion, well, of course no one wants to be the serial killer capital of the world, but it's also like a weird source of pride of I don't know what word I'm looking for.
I think it's that no one wants to be unspecial.
There's that too.
And so every town that some crazy murder happens in, they latch onto it because, boy, isn't this wild?
Even if we suck, mate, at least we got that murder going for us.
Yeah, it's like the same reason that Youngstown...
Remember that time that guy did that horrible thing?
Well, Youngstown people love to be like, oh, man, the mob used to be pretty around here, and and it's like, okay, that's possibly... true, but relatively, were we ever as big a deal as like Chicago, New York? Probably not.
But when you consider like the size of the town and the number of people who knew each other, it still feels like it was a big deal. I think it's all like relative. Because I have family members who have those stories of like, yeah, my dad used to take me to the bar when I was a kid. We used to sit at the bar and he'd chat with someone. I found out later that was the local mob boss.
And all that stuff happened. I'm just saying Youngstown was never the mob capital of America the way that people want to feel like it is, you know?
It's just that fascination with like the stuff you didn't realize was happening while you were having a normal life.
I can see that.
It's like I didn't realize all these horrible crimes were happening or this was going on. I was just playing with my Legos or whatever you're doing. But there's like that seedy underbelly that is always occurring. And so it's like fascinating.
People are drawn to it.
To figure it out. Yeah.
I want to say when you set aside raw numbers, especially with something as detail rich as serial killings, there's a lot of room for opinion about this. A lot of people have pretty good contention for why their area is noteworthy for serial killings. I think that this is also made more complicated as for trying to figure out where most of it or the most noteworthy stuff happens. You know, like a lot of killings are not attributed to the serial killer responsible. So sometimes there's a lot of killings that no one knows really who pulled them off, right?
And there's a lot of prolific serial killers who haven't actually been caught.
Right.
So it's hard to tell, well, where were they really from?
Right.
Or, maybe they didn't just kill in one area. Maybe they could be connected to other areas. And
that's true. That throws the whole system even further when you look at that.
Yeah.
I will say, it turns out there are some serious reasons to consider Ohio a noteworthy place. It is the 6th worst in the country by victim count, even though it is the 7th in population, which means that there's a disparity between, how many more people are killed here versus how many people are here.
More murders per capita.
Yeah. It makes us one of only 16 states with a disproportionately high number of victims. Admittedly, that's only slightly. I think the most extreme in that case is probably Alaska. Alaska has a really, really disproportionate number of serial killings. And I think California has the most serial killings, but not the most per capita.
Yeah.
So, Ohio is not necessarily, we have some interesting and noteworthy details. We might not be the capital.
We're trying to tell you, sweetie, you're not special. We're just not. I mean,
we're a little special.
You want to think you're special in some ways, but don't think that murders are the reason that you're special, baby.
Oh, sweetie, come on. You have so much going for you.
You
Why do you
have
think about
so
murder?
many other things to focus on.
Ohio, baby, darling, come on now.
Don't sell yourself short with the murder and the gore. There's so much food you could be known for. Come on.
Ohio, baby. God, what a weird thing. Anyway, let's get right down to what are some very noteworthy serial killers.
All right.
The first one I chose, I think a lot of people know in this state that Jeffrey Dahmer is tied to Ohio. And so while I'm not going to give an entire full history of Jeffrey Dahmer, I want to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer's connections to Ohio and the and what are the activities in Ohio, the regional things, the things I think they're the most relevant to this topic. So everyone, like I said, everyone knows Jeffrey Dahmer grew up in Ohio. It's kind of a big deal to us here. He moved to Doylestown, Ohio from Milwaukee, Wisconsin when he was 6 years old. And then later to Bath, Ohio at the age of 8. For reference, both of those towns are basically slightly northwest of Akron.
Okay.
I looked them up on a map because I was curious. So actually pretty close.
Yeah, Akron is where we were on Sunday, so
yeah, like surprisingly close.
Within an hour and a half of where we live.
Yeah, right around an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour stops.
All right.
So one thing I didn't know about Jeffrey Dahmer, I thought this was interesting, but it was confirmed by multiple sources, was that he was a youth alcoholic. I had no idea about this.
I think I had heard that, actually.
Like, the fact that he was a drinker in his older, when he was, in his 20s and 30s, is, like, kind of well known because it's a big factor of the sort of scenes that he was in and the people he was meeting and bringing back to his place and the things that he was doing with people and all that. But a colorful example from the Tuscaloosa News.
Tuscaloosa?
In the Tuscaloosa paper. Detailed a time when a 14-year-old Jeffrey Dahmer, this is after he was picked up and all that, was drinking scotch in high school. And when a teacher asked him why, he referred to it as his medicine, which is a weird thing for a 14-year-old kid to say.
Yeah.
I thought that was an odd detail.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like we were just recently talking about exactly how big, I guess alcohol culture is here and also in Wisconsin, where he's also from. But I thought that was a weird detail.
I mean, my understanding of Doylestown, I don't really know anything about Bath, but I feel like it's not a large town, right?
I don't think either of them are particularly large towns.
Because not to like stereotype areas or anything, but you tend to have high rates of alcoholism in drinking in areas that are rural because there isn't a whole lot to do. A lot of times people just do their hard work and then
working hard.
And then do what? You have some alcohol and call it a night.
Yeah. When there's nothing to do.
Yeah, drink. Do that. It makes everything interesting.
It sure does.
You can't predict what's going to happen when you drink like a 24-pack. Aside from killing yourself slowly.
True. Worth mentioning that Jeffrey Dahmer committed his first murder in Ohio. I don't know if this is public or widespread knowledge. It is public knowledge. I don't know if it's widespread. This happened June 18th of 1978. A hitchhiker named Stephen Mark Hicks was, on the side of the road. Jeffrey Dahmer picked him up and took him to his home. They drank and they hung out for a few hours. And when the man went to leave, Dahmer got upset. And he knocked him unconscious with a 10-pound barbell, strangled him with the barbell, masturbated on his corpse, and then dismembered him in the home's crawl space and buried him in the backyard.
A little bit of Gacy action going with the crawl space.
The crawl space thing is interesting to me. It is. Like,
why wouldn't you just leave him in the crawl space? I mean, I guess the smell, but
because the thing is, it is his family home.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting that at the time, his family isn't living there either. Because his folks at this point were divorced. I think Dahmer was...
Didn't he live with his grandma at one point?
Yeah, at one point he did. This is before that. Okay. So he's like 18 or 19 years old, and he picks up a hitchhiker of around the same age. His folks have already divorced, and they're not living in this house anymore in Bath, Ohio.
So they just left their 18-year-old son?
Well, they left the house, and he's, I don't know, he's an adult. He could be doing whatever he, wants to, but he's living in the house.
This still seems like a weird situation, though.
I think at the time he might have even been in school. I'm not sure if that happened yet or not, because the thing is, he went to OSU around this time. So at this point, no one's living in the house. He may have been in school. He has a perfectly reasonable, access to the house, so... It kind of makes sense that if he was going to pick someone up, it might be in the hometown near the house where nobody is, right? Yeah. So, anyway, a few weeks later, after burying the guy in the backyard, he decides to dig him back up, to dissolve his flesh, and to break up and scatter the bones in the woods behind the house.
That's harder to do than you'd think it would be.
What, to dissolve the flesh or to scatter the bones?
All of it.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to get rid of a human body.
To break a human bone is not light work.
Yeah.
And to dissolve, like, you see in, like, crime shows all the time, especially fictional ones, like, oh, they dissolved it in lye, or oh, they dissolved it in acid. But it doesn't work that way. It takes a really long time, and it's usually not that successful.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it looks really simple on television.
Yes.
Because you get to cut between this and that, and all of a sudden everything's
It would take a lot of whatever you're trying to use and a lot of time, and it would be noticeable.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I think about like the bones that we give the dog. Like, I couldn't break one of those with my hands most tools. It'd be a lot of work.
So... This is a graphic and specific example, but when I was in college, I was in a class in which we dissected a human cadaver.
Right.
And we had a bone saw, and it was misplaced. So we did not have the bone saw when we needed it most. We ordered a new one, but we were still at the part of the class where we needed to get through the rib cage.
Yeah.
So we used... Not a bone saw.
Well, like a hacksaw?
No, we used like another knife, but it wasn't specifically a bone saw. Okay. And so it was very difficult to cut through the ribs to get past them to like get to the heart and everything else that we wanted to look at. And ribs aren't that thick. I mean, ribs aren't a femur. Breaking a femur or cutting a femur to make it easier to dispose. They're fairly thin compared to other ones. And we all know people who've like broken ribs and stuff. It's tough to get through a rib intentionally, like to cut through it.
Yeah.
It was very hard. And I can't imagine if you didn't have the proper equipment, and even if you do, it would take a really long time to like cut through a bone.
I can't imagine what he used. I mean, that part wasn't available to me. I don't know what he used, but you're right. It would be very difficult to do.
Unless you're just like breaking them with like a sledgehammer.
Or like a press or something. Like, I have no idea what he used.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like an easy job.
That's hard work right there.
Right. Yeah, it is. So anyway, basically 6 weeks after this incident, after he finishes dissolving the guy and chopping his bones up and scattering him everywhere, his dad and new stepmom show up and are surprised to see him at home, which I thought was kind of a funny detail. Is they missed all this by like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
No one knew. So that's the first murder that he committed, being here in Ohio, is kind of noteworthy. I read that he left Ohio after dropping out of OSU, where he was for about 3 months. He didn't last there long. He was not a good student. He dropped out to serve in the Army as a medic for 2 years. Does anyone know that about Jeffrey Dahmer?
I didn't realize that.
That's a weird detail I didn't know about him. He was a medic for 2 years. He served overseas. He also worth noting that while he was stationed in Germany, this is information that came out again after his arrest, 2 of his fellow soldiers had alleged long after the fact that he had raped them while in the service.
Ugh.
No one knew. And I'm not sure if they reported it and it went missing or if they didn't report it.
They probably didn't report
They
it.
probably didn't report it is my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Because
for sure.
that was still would have been a time in the military when you, even if you were gay in the military, you didn't. It was the don't ask, don't tell policy.
Yeah, but also I don't even know if these soldiers are gay.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
If we also have a culture, and especially then maybe a little less so now,
Yeah.
that and
That,
people who are assaulted often like. You wonder what it says about you that it happened to you.
Sure.
And you question yourself.
Yeah.
And so in an environment like the Army, especially one that is not approving of gay people, regardless of whether these individuals are gay or not, that would be like the worst possible thing that could happen and that you could talk about and that you could admit.
Yeah, right.
They were going to be victim blamed and was going to be how did you bring this on yourself and were you into it? Did you lead them on or what,
There's a lot of speculation on our part.
Yeah,
but I do think it's very feasible.
It could have been mishandled, and I think regardless of if that's how it would have been handled, I think that is the fear.
Yeah, probably. That would certainly explain why we found out about it after, but not at the time.
Right.
Why no one found out at the time.
Right. I think there's a lot of things that you don't find out at the time for all kinds of reasons like that.
So basically he's let go from the Army, and he's let go from the Army because of deteriorating performance.
Is he dishonorably discharged?
Actually, I don't know what specifically what his discharge was, but I know it was related to performance and it was related to his alcoholism. I'm not sure what exactly the discharge was. So basically, the vast majority of the incidents that you know about Jeffrey Dahmer occurred in Wisconsin. So they don't mostly apply to our Ohio serial killer episode here. But like I said, I think it's worth noting that he's a made in Ohio serial killer, that his first killing was in Ohio.
We should be proud.
Look what we made. It's also like a thing I didn't write down, but that came up in my research was that apparently Dahmer had this fantasy as like a young man, like when he was like 15 or 16. Apparently there was like a jogger or something that regularly went by somewhere he would spend time, and he'd fantasize about knocking this guy out and, having his way with him and killing him. Like this is like, again, like in Ohio, before even his first murder, like that's like sort of where the sort of the germination of the whole thing was. Like I think the
germination.
Huh?
Nothing is real bad. No, keep going. Ignore that.
Okay. So yeah, no, it's but yeah, that's where essentially, all this started was here in Ohio. So he was eventually, it's worth noting, extradited back to Ohio from Wisconsin and convicted of that murder, that first murder of Stephen Hicks. And just as a way of wrapping up the Jeffrey Dahmer segment here, I don't know, I don't think I told this on the podcast before, but I know someone, or I used to work with someone who claimed to have met Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know if I told you this before.
You have told me, but I forget the details.
So there's a guy I used to work with, and he told me that at one point he was at like a club in Cleveland one night. And he remembered that he left the club and he was out sort of at the street area, and there was a guy in a parked car, and he was offering him a ride.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost went with the guy, or you know how when you remember things after the fact that maybe the details aren't quite clear. So either he almost went with him, or he just kind of saw him and brushed him off, or whatever happened. And he said that a couple of years later, he saw that guy on the news, and it was Jeffrey Dahmer, and he swore it was him. He swore that he remembered his face so clearly because something about the guy just stuck with him.
Yeah.
And I can believe that. Like, especially
those stories are so creepy.
Isn't it creepy? But also, like, you would remember that guy because someone who is out picking people up with the intent to kill them, I just think there's something about that. Well, sometimes you would have to see it.
Sometimes you get a feeling
Yeah.
that something is up. Like there's something wrong about a situation. And you tend to like remember those details because you're like, this is sketchy. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything like woo about those feelings. I think it's like subconsciously picking up on things that don't make sense with
subtext. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way people carry themselves, their attitudes, like things that are incongruous in the moment.
Right. Or like maybe he's sitting there with his window down, but it's like a really cold day in the wintertime. Why would he be doing that? And why is he just sitting there waiting to give people rides?
The stuff that you don't think about, but that
your brain knows is going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I've heard similar stories from other people about other serial killers and stuff of like, yeah, I knew this person, or I met this person and I saw their face later and went, oh shit, that was close.
Yeah. I think that kind of thing happens quite a bit. I think our brains are really good at picking up like something's off.
Yeah. We've mentioned My Favorite Murder before, and they do episodes that they call their minisodes or minisodes. And it's basically like emailing in with their own stories of like, sometimes there's like an actual theme for the minisode episode, but it's devolved into like, just tell us your interesting stories and maybe we'll read them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it'll be people talking about like, oh, hey, like my mom was almost a victim of Ted Bundy, or like stuff like that. And those ones are really interesting because it usually comes up in like conversation between family members, and they go, oh shit. And then they go back and look at pictures of their mom during that time and go, oh, you look like his victims. Like that could have been bad.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing also you wouldn't hear these stories normally. Like there's really kind of no place in like most media for these little stories that you might hear around a dinner table. Like, yeah, you're not going to believe this, but Aunt Linda almost got picked up by Ted Bundy. Like, there's not a place for that in like the major media.
And there's not even a place for that in all family situations. Like sometimes it feels like such a fluke thing that you happen to get a detail out of the right person at the right time, and we're able to figure out some crazy family story that no one talks about.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why those stories are such a joy to hear, because they're crazy and fascinating, and just lucky to have heard them and be able to share them.
Yeah.
But I want to know about more Ohio serial killers.
All right, well, let's move on because I got another one. I cannot remember who it was who mentioned this killer to me recently, but it is the Cleveland Torso Killer. I wish I could remember who mentioned this to me. I can't remember who it was.
I'm pretty sure there is a My Favorite Murder episode about it.
There probably is. It's a pretty big deal. This serial killer, the major killings attributed to this killer happened between 1935 and 1938 in Cleveland. 12 people are believed to be the victims of a never identified killer.
That's creepiest of all.
Never identified. Never positively.
Maybe he's still alive.
Well, it was 35 to 38. So if you figure the killer was maybe 20 when that happened, and then you tag on another 70 years, 90 years.
Nah, he's still going.
Nah, probably not. Some people think the number is not just 12. Some people think it's more like 20. Some people believe there are additional possible kills outside of Cleveland, including in Youngstown and Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
That could have been the work of the same killer. 12 is the official count.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of other killings that match similar MO.
Okay. Well, tell me all about it.
Well, I will tell you that the Cleveland torso killer had the distinctive habit of beheading his victims, quite often cutting the torso in half. It's also noteworthy they were often found really long after the killing occurred, with plenty of time for the body to decompose. Males were often castrated. Many of the bodies showed evidence of being chemically treated in some way, which is interesting. But the big commonality between all of them is that this is during the Depression, and all of the victims are members of the working poor. Which made it easier for the killer to pick someone off without attracting a whole lot of attention until the pattern was established, because they're working poor people. No one gave a shit.
Yeah. Especially during that time. And there was so many working poor.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So at this point, like, nobody's worth, the attention, which is the unfortunate thing.
Well, also, like, it wasn't an era of social media where, like, news can spread quickly. It's like, once you finally figure it out. And the fact that, somehow and for some reason, the bodies tended not to be found until they're already decomposing. You might not know precisely how long that person would have been missing, so you don't know even where to look, who it could have been, when a lot of people get lost in the fray during those times.
It was decidedly harder to do police work back then.
Yeah. And also, like, who's to say someone didn't just get sick of being working poor and just go away somewhere else?
Yeah, right.
Or leave that specific area and go do something else,
Yeah, right. Sorry, my phone decided to scroll all the way to the end of everything, so I have to go backwards here. Elliot Ness is often associated with this case, which is interesting. It's worth noting that during the time that the murders occurred, he really was just the public safety director of Cleveland, which did put him in a place to oversee the police and emergency services, but he wasn't, he hadn't achieved
he wasn't highly involved with it.
Right. He didn't achieve his sort of notoriety at this point yet. He wasn't like one of the, I'm forgetting what they were called, his sort of elite group of the investigators he was a part of. God, I wish I could remember what that was. But he never really investigated this case personally.
Yeah.
So they did at one point find one possible suspect, someone that they were looking at very closely. His name was Dr. Francis A. Sweeney. He failed 2 early polygraph tests, and the interrogator, who was a guy named Leonard Keeler, who was a early pioneer of this particular kind of test, assured Elliot Ness that this was the guy. He was 100% certain. Polygraphs were, as you can imagine, even less reliable than they are now, and many people argue they're not reliable at all right now.
Yeah, the Untouchables is
That's
what you were thinking of.
Thank you. God, that was going to drive me crazy. The Untouchables. Well, he wasn't one of those guys yet.
He was an American prohibition agent.
Right.
Famous for trying to bring down Al Capone and enforce prohibition in Chicago, but his group of law enforcement agents were the Untouchables.
Right. Now, he hadn't been assigned to this group yet. He wasn't a part of this yet.
He was just vaguely around.
Yep, he was just part of Cleveland, overseeing the public. He was the public safety director, so he was very much rooted in just sort of, that office.
Have you seen a picture of Elliot Ness?
I have.
Take a look at that mug. That's a heavy brow bone.
Yeah, the left picture is the one that I'm most familiar with.
Yeah, very serious face.
So again, Dr. Francis Sweeney. Ness was very sure he would never secure a conviction that no one would be able to pull this off because, in particular, Francis Sweeney was the cousin of Eliot Ness's political rival, Martin L. Sweeney. How about that? What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
So he just knew that even if, the polygraph said that was the guy, and even if his, investigators were certain of it,
Okay, so
he couldn't enforce it.
Here's really what Eliot Ness knew. He wasn't going to do shit about it because even if he wanted to, it would ruin his career and
would just look
question his
political.
career. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to do that without looking bad.
Yeah.
So what happened instead was that Francis Sweeney committed himself to a mental hospital and was never successfully charged. However, it is interesting that he harassed Eliot Ness via postcard for years after this. Clean up into the 1950s. We're talking like over a decade and a half of harassing him via postcard and essentially mailing him letters.
Even if
from the
it wasn't
institution.
him, he became obsessed with Eliot Ness and was
because
poking the bear.
he basically he ended up committing himself, and it was largely to do with the certainty conveyed to Eliot Ness. Like he probably committed himself because he was going to be charged if he didn't.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I want to talk briefly about those other possible crimes of the Cleveland torso killer. Some of them occurred in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is not far from here.
Nope.
A headless body was found in a boxcar in 1936. Multiple other headless bodies, were found in the swamps near Newcastle from 1921 to 1942. So lots of that. I mean, that's way outside the range.
A range that extends past when the main 12 cases were active.
Before and after those killings.
I was going to say, if it was just before, you could be like, well, maybe the person moved, or just after, maybe the person moved to that area. But the fact that it's on either side. But Cleveland isn't that far from here, and Newcastle's not that far from here.
You're right, they're not far, and I'll actually get into that in just a second. But before I do, it's worth noting also that 3 more headless bodies were found in boxcars near McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania in 1940, which is now inside that window of the Newcastle murders. But basically, we're talking 1921 to 1942. It's like a really broad range. And while nobody was ever properly charged for those crimes, this is why I said I was going to come back to it, McKees Rocks, Newcastle, and Cleveland are all connected by the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad line.
And they were found in boxcars.
And bodies were found in boxcars. I think the similar conditions of the bodies, the presence of the bodies in the boxcars, the similar time frame, it does suggest that they might be connected.
And also, this is a time when like hobos and train travel and just like picking up and jumping on a train would have been way more feasible and common.
I think the Depression especially made it really, really easy to just be a drifter without being noticed.
Yeah.
Because everybody was coming into town and leaving looking for work.
And yeah, it kind of made it desirable to do that because
it was the only option for a lot of people, is to be migrant workers and go everywhere and take what you could get. So it kind of makes sense that something like this, all peppered along a railroad. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
That does.
Like I said, no one was ever charged for those crimes. No one was ever has ever proven that they were all the work of the Cleveland torso killer. But at this point, it's very unlikely that anyone will be charged.
You mentioned Youngstown. Did you find anything specifically about that one?
I didn't. I saw a mention of it, but I couldn't track down what they were referring to. And maybe that'd be a fun one to come back to for a middle segment. But I didn't find a specific on that.
Okay.
And it's at this point that I switched to our third serial killer, and this one is kind of recent.
Okay.
And pretty close and kind of sad. Very sad, actually. So, this is for me where this gets like,
buckle
real.
up, buckaroos.
Yeah, this is where it goes from like true crime to like true crime.
Yeah.
It's this one bummed me out, to be honest with you. But I thought it was important to talk about it. And it takes place in Ashland, Ohio. You know where Ashland, Ohio is.
I can't recall.
Because we always stop there on our way to Columbus or Cincy or anywhere down southwest. It's where it's where Grandpa's Cheese Barn is.
Grandpa's Cheese Barn.
Although that might actually not. No, that's the one. Yeah, it's the place where the big gas station is. We get off there on 70 whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
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 The big gas station. It's a popular stop on the way from say the Northeast down to like Columbus or whatever.
All
right. So I'll just jump into this. This is a person named Sean Great. He to get a sense of who he is, here's a description of him from his own mother. She says, quote, "He's good looking, but the devil's good looking too. He ain't got no red horns and all that stuff. You'll find out he's charming, and of course that charm can charm the pants off anybody. Not to be nasty, but you just know how it works."
All right. That's not a description you'd expect from someone's mother about their son.
It's like real specific.
Specific and like
a little bit lewd.
It's
like weird.
Lewd and like kind of weirdly proud, but also like very honest.
Yeah. It's just a strange thing to be like, my son is possibly the devil that can charm the pants off everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's someone that presumably knows him pretty well. And That's why I wanted to include this before we got started.
Interesting.
Sean Great was described by the Washington Post as regularly preying upon people who fall between the cracks of society.
When you mentioned this is more recent, when is it?
This is within the last 2 years.
Oh, okay. Just the way his mom spoke made me, even though I knew it was recent, made me go, how recent is recent?
Might be part of how I read it too, to be honest.
Could be.
But yeah,
I don't know, something about the phrase "charm the pants off" is just really quaint.
Well, I referred to scaring your pants off earlier, so
it's true. That is a phrase that we use, but it's also, I think it's very Midwestern.
It is very Midwestern. I would agree. But so again, to talk about Sean Great. He may be responsible for the deaths of as many as 5 women by his own confession. Again, in Ashland, not far away. Here's a way of telling this story that makes sense. On September 8th, 2016, a woman named Stacy Stanley, age 43, goes out for coffee. Her son tells this story to people later. She is last seen by anybody with a flat tire on East Main Street in Ashland. And then she goes missing. And while the town is trying to locate her, another woman who is still unidentified also goes missing. Goes missing too, right? Mm-hmm. The fact that she went missing is probably known to people, but her name, as far as where the story is going, is not released by police.
Okay.
Nobody is able to find either of them for 5 days. A break comes in this case on September 13th. Again, that's 5 days after Stacy Stanley is last seen. A phone call is placed to 911. And that call is from this unidentified woman who vanished second, right? Mm-hmm. She says she's been kidnapped by Sean Great, that he is asleep in the bedroom where she also is.
No.
She's scared. The call comes in around 7 a.m., and it lasts 19 minutes in total. The call is patched over to the sheriff's department, but the woman doesn't know the address. She's only able to tell them that they are near a laundromat in Ashland. That's all she knows. In that 19-minute call, mm-hmm. they're able to find her And you can even hear the police on the 911 call coming in on her end, where they encourage her to leave the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, Sean Great is taken into custody. When police search the home, they find 2 bodies. One of those bodies is later identified as Stacy Stanley, the woman that went missing 5 days before.
Mm-hmm.
The other is a woman named Elizabeth Griffith, who had been missing for an entire month at that point.
So you said their bodies were found, so they were both dead.
They were both dead. They were identified after being found. The unidentified woman that placed the phone call and that made it out of there says a lot in saying that, to describe it, her phrase was, he assaulted her in every way imaginable.
Mm.
And
I haven't heard of this.
Like I said, this is like 2 years ago.
I know. How
An
have
hour
I not
and a
heard
half
of
away.
this?
I know. That's I think maybe part of why this really just upset me as much as it did is it's so awful, and it was right here.
Yeah.
And like, to not even know that, it's like, it just makes you kind of question what is going on in the world, you know?
Yeah.
If that can go under my radar, what is happening here?
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of things go under the radar for many different reasons, but one is just like, if we sought out every bad, horrible thing that happened, like...
Sure. But you just think you would have heard about this by accident.
But yeah, it does sound like something I should know about already.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So, like I said, she testified that he assaulted her in her words, every way imaginable. She also testified at his trial about how she knew him. When she met him, she thought he was a clean, good-looking, nice guy. Mm-hmm. She was really religious, and she met him at the Ashland Salvation Army Kroc Center, which is a community center in Ashland, in the summer of 2016. So this is, within a couple of months before all of this. They talked and played tennis, and they used to take long walks together during this time. And he intimated that he wanted a relationship with her, but she never let guys into her place because, again, of the religious thing. She made that clear that she was against premarital sex. She established that with him. She went to visit his place on September 11th of 2016 because he claimed that he had a big bag of clothes from his parents to give to her. Mm-hmm. And over the next 2 days, she was trapped there. He assaulted her many times, the details of which are awful. To speak generally, she during this time she is assaulted, sexually assaulted, restrained, posed, and even photographed. He has a taser on him during this whole time. Mm-hmm. Which she mentions during the 911 call. She was bound up the morning of the 13th, and only by escaping the binds was she able to place the 911 call.
I just quickly want to say, how impressive it is that in that situation, and I can't even imagine the amount of fear that she felt, that she was able to get free, call 911 in the same room as her attacker.
Yeah.
Without him noticing, and with enough awareness to tell them as many details as she possibly could, what his name was, and the fact that he had a weapon on him at all times, so they were aware of that. That's incredible. And I'm sure, basically, she was a captive, and I'm sure that you kind of think about, if I can get free, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? But the fact that she was able to do it in what must have been a very terrified state.
It's very careful, procedural, quick thinking.
Yeah.
To manage to...
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is. Because it's a really scary situation to be in. Most people aren't able to be thoughtful enough to do all that.
Sometimes when I hear stories like this, like, it sounds like something out of a TV show. Mm-hmm. Not a thing a real human being could do to another human being. It's awful.
So at the trial, this is later. The trial is actually at the beginning of this year, I think. Video evidence is presented of Stacey Stanley as well, because Sean also videotaped Stacey Stanley while she was in his custody and alive. Much of this is also corroborated in his own confession. And this is, I think, an interesting part of this, is that Sean confessed to a surprising amount of stuff. Mm-hmm. On the day of his arrest, he led the police to a house where he claimed that his former girlfriend, Candace Cunningham's body would be found. They do find her and confirm her identity. Another woman named Rebecca Lisi, who died in 2015 and whose death was ruled as an overdose, her case has now been reopened based on information conveyed by Sean, who he confessed to strangling her over $4 that she stole from him at a bar. He claims to also have killed yet another woman, a Marion County woman that was found dead and never identified, but whom he believes was named Dana. That is still not, that case has still not been brought to trial yet, but these remaining 3 women, it's expected that he's going to be charged for these as well.
Yeah.
So to round out the Sean Gray story, he was eventually found guilty of murdering Elizabeth Griffith and Stacey Stanley, as well as the kidnapping and assault of the unnamed Jane Doe. And as of September, his sentencing was delayed due to an appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court. And further charges, like I said, are likely to arise from the information he provided on the other 3 women.
I still just can't believe that I hadn't heard of any of it.
I know. Again, it's like so close that you would think that you would at least know that happened.
Yeah.
But so that's Sean Gray. That's the third one on my list. I did mention that I put together an abbreviated list of killers I didn't do much research on. Mm-hmm. Those include I have 3 of them here. Glenn Lee Benner II, who was convicted of the aggravated murder, kidnapping, and rape in the 2 counts of aggravated murder, kidnapping, and rape in the Akron area. He abducted and killed 2 women in Akron, one in the woods surrounding the Blossom Music Center, and one in the city of Akron. He was sentenced to death in the state of Ohio. So his sentence has been carried out. Another one was Ed Edwards.
I was going to say Ed Edwards needs to be mentioned.
I thought he deserved a mention. And I didn't want to talk about him because he's been covered pretty well already.
Specifically, we saw him when we didn't see him.
We met Ed Edwards. Wasn't that crazy?
We saw the My Favorite Murder live show in Cleveland. They have released that episode now, so we can listen to it again.
Have they really?
I've listened to it, yeah. And
I thought I looked for it. I couldn't find it.
It's pretty recent.
A couple of days ago.
I can help you find it. I listened to it last week. He is prolific and very interesting, and there's all kinds of weird theories that he could be a bunch of other serial killers.
Yeah,
like he could be the Zodiac killer. The strange thing about it is that there is evidence that corroborates it. Like, it's not just like people being like, well, he's probably this guy too. It's like, well, he was in that area.
Yeah, right.
So, but it's a little bit far reaching for some of those claims, but the things we do know he did is pretty crazy.
Ed Edwards is really interesting, and you should probably just look him up.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do any better than Well, for example, like you said, My Favorite Murder. So now that episode's out, just find
look them up or find that live episode. It's the one
from Cleveland.
From Cleveland at the Colin. I was trying to think of the name of the theater.
I can't remember it. I'm just making noises.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, but look that up.
Yeah.
Third one that I didn't talk about, the Cincinnati Strangler. This is an individual who raped and strangled 7 women, mostly elderly, between 1965 to 1966. It's widely believed to have been a cab driver by the name of Postile Lasky, who was only convicted of one of the murders, but many people believe he was responsible for the rest. He is dead. He died in prison of natural causes. And I glanced over this earlier, but Ed Edwards as well is dead. He was sentenced to death in Columbus, Ohio. So those 3 were interesting, but I didn't have time to talk about as many possible topics as I wanted to. Those are 3 that you should probably, especially Ed Edwards, you should look into. And the Cincinnati Strangler is pretty interesting. The Glenn Lee Benner was only noteworthy in that it happened in Akron, which is very close by. But as serial killers go, that one's pretty cut and dry.
So the episode of My Favorite Murder, if you want to listen to it, is number 134, live at the Connor Palace in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
So that they talk about...
We were in that building?
Yes, and they talk about the Kirtland cult killings, which is another interesting
And if you listen really carefully, you can hear us in there, too.
Yeah.
Like laughing and clapping.
And going... Woo!
Did we woo?
No, I don't think... Maybe quietly to each other, but I don't think we loudly wooed. This is a weird thing we like to do.
I don't know if people who listen to the podcast know that, but we like to go...
Whenever there's an occasion to woo, we like to do a weird moo woo.
Moo woo.
It started...
Who does that moo woo? You do.
Who do? You do.
You do.
Do what? Remind me of the moo.
Moo woo.
Moo woo. It sounds like a product we need to invent, like the shiwi. Like the moo woo.
Yeah, or the go-gurt, or the, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird kind of rhymey things. Moo woo.
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah. Oh, man. I want some yoo-hoo, but it was never that great.
It's never
What I really
that
want
good.
is chocolate milk.
I have Nesquik and milk.
You beautiful man.
Yeah.
I'm lactose intolerant.
Why do you ask me for these things?
Oh, I mean, I want them. I just shouldn't.
So that's it.
That's...
It's not the entirety of it, but that's all I got.
Does it? This has been a long episode, but we were making up for 2 weeks worth.
Yeah.
So
2 hours is pretty close to our upper end.
Yeah. We kind of, that little extra few minutes was just catch up.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with ketchup.
No. And wouldn't have been.
I'm tired.
So yeah, let's wrap it up because it is an awfully late night for us here on Goose Chase.
This might be the latest we've gone.
It's really nice to be back.
Yeah.
I kind of I look forward to the structure of my regular week.
Yes.
I do this podcast, I do the Dudecast, I have my research nights every other week. I have things that I get used to. And when we don't do this for too long, it's weird.
It's nice to have a break every now and then, but also it just devolves into madness if we let it go for too long. So.
We really like to come back here once a week to bum you the fuck out.
It feels that way sometimes.
Were you thinking that life might be okay and things are good?
Let's talk about serial killers.
Goose Chase.
Ditch the theme song. It's just gonna be you going, "Shoom, Goose Chase." That's pretty good, actually. Dave is now going to die.
Oh God, it hurts so bad.
Your face is really red.
That hurts so bad.
Yeah, you gotta train to sing like that, baby.
Goose Chase.
You can't just go out there and do the thing.
No, I'm not metal.
You gotta practice.
I'm not metal. I'm a little baby boy.
You gotta do that from the diaphragm. I'm a little baby boy.
I'm a little baby boy.
Okay, Satan.
Yeah. I'm the devil.
I'm just a little devil baby.
That's kind of an upbeat way to end the episode.
Yeah.
I'm the devil.
I'm the devil.
I'm the devil.
I'm just a devil.
So thanks for listening. We miss doing this for you. We'll be back in a week as usual. Christy will be hosting. She will have a topic that is not the one that I talked about, but will be a different one instead.
That's how it works. It would be weird if I did the same topic.
It would be, because then boring. We just do this again forever.
It would be like Groundhog's Day, but podcast.
Yeah, podcast day.
Podcast day.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week with another Goose Chase.
Goose Chase. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Goose Chase. We are Goose Chase Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter, our handle is @GooseChasePod, and our website is www.goosechasepodcast.com.
If you have any topics you'd like us to research, please email us at goosechasepodcast@gmail.com. If you like what we do on the show, please rate and review us on iTunes and Google Play.
Want to go on a goose chase?
Ooh, yes.